I would say that you are really stupid.
Good morning. Magandang umaga po. I'm going to say again that I am not into politics. However, I have to admit that maybe I'm getting dragged into politics. While I was staying in the United States, I heard about Duterte, about how brushed he is, but I heard about the good things that he was doing. I didn't get into any digging of facts or data. I just heard about it. I also heard about extrajudicial killings, but then there was some investigation and then it sort of silenced itself. So nothing happened out of it. Anyway, then when is that? 2016, 2015, I went to the Philippines and I was really impressed. The country has changed a lot and I like all the improvements that he did. And that is the reason why I decided to retire. Now, as I'm retired, I got involved with the pandemic, the lockdowns, and closing the border, and so forth and so on, and I was upset. And that sort of started this thing. But we will talk about it, and I'm going to show you some video clips. Stay with me. This all got started when, I already decided to spend my retirement years in the Philippines. And then when I'm supposed to go back, I couldn't go back. Why? Because of the so-called lockdowns. Several reasons for it is, first of all, I cannot go without going through testing and quarantine. And then once I'm in there, people 65 years or older are not allowed to get out. Now I'm looking at the local one instead of the international travel, the local one. So I said, what is the use going there? So in effect, I'm completely shut off. Theoretically, I'm not shut off because I can go if I want to go. But practically speaking, I'm shut off. Doesn't make sense. So I started following up on these things. I stayed away from retirement because what is there to talk about retirement when I cannot spend my retirement years? Nothing. So I said, fine, I will focus on finding out more about these entry requirements, documentation requirements. Then, of course, the next day, and of course, I did not like that. So, and the thing that I did not like the most is almost the whole country is against, with the exception of few, I would say, they did not like Duque. I also admired President Duterte for defending his people, initially, but the noise kept on going up and up and up. But no, he keeps on protecting Duque. So I said, fine. After that, I heard about this corruption. And I'm following through the corruption. And I don't like what I'm seeing. By the way, there was also a viewer who said, you don't know what you're talking about. You have not spent time here in the Philippines. You don't know what's happening in the country. Why don't you do some research? Blah, blah, blah. So, thank you very much. I followed that. I went back and I did not like what I was seeing, including impact on GDP because of the lockdown. And I do realize that this is not caused by the administration. It is not, because this is happening worldwide. But what I could criticize them on is the handling of the pandemic. Now, I'm not against lockdown or restriction, but you're making changes just like that, starting tomorrow. You cannot go back, you cannot do this, you cannot do that. Give people time. So if they don't like to be subject to that, they could get out. They could do something different. Just like the most recent one, which is what? The modularization of the lockdowns. It was supposed to be effective on this one, and the day before that, they changed their mind. They said, oh, no, we're not going to do that. That is just ridiculous. Anyway, I went back and I started doing research. I did not like what I see, and I'm going to share with you what I'm seeing here. Let's take a look at it.
Let us be clear about this. The president is bent on staying in power. Why? It's not because of the national interest, for purposes of national development. I think it's because of some basic fundamental personal reasons. One of which is that he would like to protect himself and wriggle away from very, very serious allegations, which are now filed and on record at the International Criminal Court. So perhaps he thinks that while in power, the long arm of the law cannot catch up with him because he's in power. But this is a different ball game altogether. Perhaps he has his way of thinking that because most of the members of the judiciary are his appointees, he thinks that he can get away with wrongdoing. That is their purpose. So it's unclear. In fact, it muddles the issue whether it's going to be Bongo or Sara. What is clear is it's Digong Duterte, because he is going to use his daughter, his own daughter. He's going to use his own acolyte, Bongo, and he can dictate on them. And so it's really unfair, because assuming, for the sake of argument, that Bongo and Duterte, meaning the father, will run and both of them win, you can be almost sure that the back door is open for the president to be president again in contravention of the very clear provisions of the Constitution. It can also be the other way around, assuming it's going to be Sara, and the president wins as vice president. The same thing will happen. Perhaps not perhaps immediately, but perhaps in the middle part or early part of the term, you will have that arrangement, because they are fearful of their own freedom and their liberty. They are definitely going to answer some serious criminal, not only administrative, but serious criminal charges in the Philippine courts, as well as in the International Criminal Court. I think that's the purpose of Duterte running. He is not concerned about the destiny of this country. And all the while we thought, when I was the campaign manager of President Duterte in Samar, I was with him, and he would always say, well, we're going to make this country move forward. And I was leading the crowd in clapping their hands. But, you know, like I had been saying, nabudol-budol kami, because imbis na pasasalamatan yung mga bumuto sa kanya, ano ginawa niya? Ininsulto niya pa. Ano sabi niya? Kayo, mga bumoto sa akin, kayo mga estupido at mga bobo. Kayo, mga bumoto sa akin, kayo mga estupido at mga bobo. Kayo, mga bumoto sa akin, kayo mga estupido at mga bobo.
Alam mo, panahon ng kampanya yon, hindi siguro sanay itong mga na style ko sa kampanya. Yung biro na yon, yung we call it bravado, yung bravado ko, pure campaign joke. At kung naniniwala kayo sa kabila, I would say that you are really stupid. I would say that you are really stupid. I would say that you are really stupid.
There you have it, guys. President Duterte's communication, medium of communication, is not that good. He's even insulting his voters, saying they're stupid for believing what he was saying. Of course, he may be joking, but that's his fault. He jokes, but you cannot rely on an individual who says one thing, and if it doesn't work, he's going to say, I was just joking. So when do you know when he's serious? Just when do you know when he's serious? As a president of the country, you should never joke, especially those kinds of jokes. Political jokes, whatever, it doesn't matter. And there is so much corruption that I'm starting to dig out from my research. So now I don't know. The thing is, because I learned about this, just like immigration, retirement stuff that I wanted to share with you because I spent so much time on it. Now that I'm learning a lot more about what is happening in the country, I'm sharing it with you too. I'm not rendering any judgment whatsoever. I'm just sharing the information that I found. It's up for you to make a decision. Me, of course, I have made my decision. This will probably be the first time I will be voting. First time I'll be voting. And I say I'm not into politics. Why is that? I don't even know who the parties are. I heard Pacquiao. I heard Poe. I heard De Lima before only because of the crisis with De Lima at that time. Not too many. I never heard of Soto. I never heard of these names I'm hearing now is the first time I'm hearing them. So I'm not into politics in that I'm supporting this one versus this one. No. I'm just looking at the existing administration. And again, my purpose is just to communicate to you what I have learned. So in the event you're not aware of it, you are aware of it now. Also, here is the very important thing. Do not just believe what you see, because sometimes what you see is not what you get. Look at the things that could be happening through the back door. For example, I was deceived into thinking, gee, everything is great. Look at all these buildings. Wow, nice railroads, nice transportation. We didn't have the trains before, railways. And then as I see the corruption, for example, happening in this pandemic, I said, gee, how do I know that it's not happening in the so-called projects? And people are so amazed and they love the existing administration because of the projects. But these people love projects because that is where crime, corruption is committed in a hidden way, through the back door, not through the front door. So I'm saying to myself again, I am not accusing because unless I have a proof, I cannot accuse. But it doesn't stop you or anyone from having their own opinion as to what could be happening. And that is all I'm relaying here. It's up for you to make that decision. There's an election coming up, which is very important. And one of the questions I had is, why is Duterte running again after 6 years? He should retire. And then this is what I got. So guys, thank you very much for watching. I'll appreciate it if you click like, and I will appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel, unless you have already done so. Thank you so much for watching. Make it a great day, and God bless.